God designed our bodies to heal themselves given the right tools. I believe everybody can heal themselves with God's help. Now, if you've left that situation untouched for a long period of time, it's not going to be today or tomorrow that it gets better. And it's the timing part that we have to play with.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Audacious Faith Podcast, where we have the audacity to believe that God put us on this earth to do more than just exist, but to make a huge difference in the world around us. I don't know if you've noticed lately, but we've been getting some great and fantastic guests from all over the country who have a lot of different expertise and different things that they're doing, making an impact with people. Today we have another one. I'm excited to have her with us. Rachel Borntrager is a wife, mom of 5, national board certified holistic health coach, and she has a passion for helping women take back their health. After personally going on her own journey of losing over 70 pounds, she now specializes in sustainable weight loss through blood sugar balance, gut health, and mindset renewal, especially for those busy moms that are out there. And through her work with Purposeful Health, Rachel focuses on getting to the root causes, I love that, of issues like inflammation, hormonal imbalance, and helping people restore energy, confidence, and long-term wellness. I know that's a subject that we really need to look at today. So Rachel, thank you so much for joining us and being on the podcast today.
Thank you for having me. It's such a delight to be here.
Awesome. Well, kind of catch us up on you. I mean, I got a little bit in your intro there. I know you're also a person of faith, so maybe kind of tell us how that came to be, why that's important to you, and kind of how it, I know this is a big question, but how it kind of fuels what you're doing right now.
So I'm going to start back. My first career was in radiology and working full-time radiology plus living in a small town, so you take call and all the things. Fast forward to the years where we chose to adopt children. We had 3 biological, and trying to manage all of that and realizing what stress was doing to my body, I stepped back from full-time, took some family leave, and realized what stress was doing to my body, lost the 70 pounds. And then I was like, dude, if I can do this, then I want to help all these busy moms that are on a mission, on a path, but yet have no energy to do it. So that kind of was the start of the journey. 2020 kind of twist and turned things a little bit more. And we are here at Purposeful Health, we help people get to the root health issue by biofeedback. We customize the nutrition and then have all sorts of different therapies to support them.
Well, you mentioned some big ones that everybody faces, stress, for example, and you tied in on busy moms especially. Busyness seems to be one of the biggest enemies that we have, isn't it? Because of the schedule and the convenience, and that just kind of lends to the junk food and the processed foods and all those things. So you found yourself in a situation where you were in that rat race, and yet you were a medical professional, and yet you still were falling into this. You said 70 pounds. So how do you feel different now, say, than when you were 70 pounds heavier?
Well, it was definitely a lot of more brain fog, slow and sluggish, always exhausted, wired but tired.
Okay.
And twisting that or turning that, pivoting, whatever you want to say, we're always going to have stress. It's just a matter of knowing how to transform that. What tools do we have to transform it so that we can still be used for the purpose God has created us to be?
Okay, so let's touch on that a little bit, because like you said, stress will always be there. We can't, put ourselves in a bubble somewhere in a room and avoid it. So maybe let's go into the first thing here that you're mentioning then. Okay, how do we start turning that? How do we start dealing with that a little bit differently so we can become more effective in the people God wants us to be, as you mentioned?
I feel like sometimes we have to slow down to speed up. And for me, stepping back from the radiology that I was doing, and I literally slept hours and was really realizing that, like, seriously, my whole system was out of whack. I wasn't sleeping properly, which then causes stress on your body. You're not absorbing your nutrients properly, even if you're doing all the right quote unquote things. If your cells do not absorb it, you cannot build health. If you're not sleeping, you cannot build health. So really, stepping back, slowing down to speed up is really important.
So you're tying this in, and sleep is a thing. Now, I know that studies are now revealing more and more, and people are coming to the realization, wait a minute, I need to sleep more. And yet, sleep seems to be a major issue for people, even when they try. Um, Here's, let's say, about 13, 14 years ago, when I was also going into business, I had business mentors that were telling me, oh, you only need 4 hours a night, just go, 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 grind, 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 4 or 5 hours tops. And that really takes its toll, doesn't it? Because even if we wake up and we think, okay, I'm good, how does that affect the body as far as things that the body's not able to do because you're not getting enough sleep?
Sleep is when your body repairs itself. So if you're not sleeping, your organs are not repairing. And for women specifically, um, you go through a lot of change. If it's weekly, if you're on the menstruation, or if you are premenopause, postmenopause, your body is changing a lot.
Mhm.
And the liver, gallbladder, I like to always pair them together. Even if you don't have a gallbladder, the function is still in the liver. It's doing so much, and it's taking out toxins, it's converting hormones. And if you're not sleeping that 1 to 3 o'clock, it is super important to take note, because you've got maybe a deeper issue going on, and realizing that if you're not sleeping, your body's not repairing, those hormones aren't converting, you'll have insulin resistance, and kind of just like a snowball effect. And
Mm.
then on the flip side, what do? A lot of people do go to bed and they're like, well, I can't even go to sleep. My mind is still like going like crazy. There's a lot of tools that you can utilize. For example, just breathing, deep breathing, box breathing. There's all sorts of different patterns like that, because our vagus nerves goes right up by our throat, by our ears, and even just that deep breathing can help calm that nervous system down.
That's the key. So I experienced this myself a few weeks ago. We'd done a move and a transition. I don't know if that was part of it, and a lot of things that were going on. And I was trying to go to bed. I was tired. I was trying to go to bed, and literally all of a sudden I had what they call like this restless leg syndrome. I'm trying to fall asleep, and my body keeps waking myself up before, and I just could not relax. I wasn't really consciously stressed about things very much, but for some reason I could not get my body to calm down. And I was looking up things, and one of the things I found is what you were just talking about. This deep breathing. What is it like, breathing in through the nose and then just kind of out slowly? I mean, does that?
There's all sorts of different ways. Sometimes it's like some people are like, breathe in for 4 to 6 seconds
Mhm.
and then hold it for 4 to 6 seconds, pause, and then breathe out that whole expel. Or you can do a double breath where you're like deep breathing into the bowl of your belly, really expand that bowl, and before you exhale, envision it going up to your heart. So it's like a double breath. And that can really help pull that out of fight or flight too.
So it seems so weird to us because we're thinking to ourselves, I mean, I know this is what I've thought. It's like, I mean, I'm 59 years old. It's not like I haven't been breathing for 59 years. But it's almost like it seems strange that we're going to bed, our body won't calm down, and somehow we need to train it to breathe right again so it will relax enough so that we can go to sleep. And yet, that's what you're saying, basically. We need to kind of reset.
Yeah. And if people really tap into themselves, sometimes you can catch yourself. For me, when
Mm.
I have a stressful event, if I'm super busy, I'm super focused, hyper focused, I will literally hold my breath. And it's not that I am intentionally holding it, it's just that is how I drive.
Okay.
And it's like, pause a minute, take some deep breaths,
Mm.
slow down to move faster. Um, the old saying, haste makes waste, is really true when you sit back and think about it.
Okay. So when the person's having trouble sleeping, um, does it seem that sometimes the harder they try, the worse it gets? I mean, where they're, I mean, just stressing over the fact. I know this happens to me if I know I have to like get to the airport early or something like that, and I know I need to get to sleep. Then all of a sudden I can't do it. And because and I'm watching the clock and I'm stressing out, going, oh, I'm not gonna get any sleep now. And it just seems to make it worse, even though I'm tired. So any other ideas that you have, taught people to put into practice to calm themselves down?
Yeah. There's several different things. So, obviously your brain is going and we need to calm that down. So there's just simply drinking some warm water, getting out of a routine. If you're laying down, get up, move around, and then go lay back down. Write things down. If they're like continually scrolling in your brain, I have people that have a notebook and paper right beside their bed so that they can just write it down instead of having to think that they'll remember, but yet they don't want to remember. They want to calm down. It's like this vicious cycle going back and forth. There's all sorts of supplements that we can implement too, but it's not a one size fits all. So I don't even like to go there until I have a conversation with each individual. And a lot of things, their situation, every person is an individualized situation. So I don't like to just throw supplement type thing at them. But breathing is huge. Deep breathing, really focusing on breathing. Focus on the back of your eyelids. There's nothing there. Focus on that. Um, Change your thought patterns.
Okay, how do we change the thought patterns? Like thinking to what? How
Uh,
would you shift?
Yes, some things are simply as like gratitude. We live in a negative world. We
Mm,
live in the worst case scenario, and switching that into I'm grateful for water to drink. I'm grateful for laying down. I'm just have all these gratitudes. And if it means getting up out of bed, if you're in bed and all these thoughts are happening, just getting up and writing them down or just saying them out loud, saying them to yourself. There's all sorts of ways to do that.
okay, sounds good. Now, you mentioned supplements. I know you don't want to get in a bunch of specific ones. There's some major ones that I kind of know of, so I want to just kind of throw it out there. Things like magnesium. Um, and I know that some people say
Ashwagandha, there's all sorts of things like that. One thing I really caution people to do is really look at the labeling of your supplements, know where you're getting them from. Walmart is not a good option. The convenience of fast and go places is not probably the best option to get supplements. So know where you're getting them, where they're from, type thing.
got it. So do you find a lot of these supplements, for example, I don't know if this is your area of expertise or not, but you mentioned the Walmart supplements, and they have different kind, not just for sleep. They've got, for fitness and for all these different kinds. And then I was looking into some of those because they weren't very expensive, of course, and that's the draw for a lot of people. And then I was seeing like things in there that I've been warned by other, experts like yourself, like avoid. There's healthy things, but it's got things in it like maltodextrin and different, chemicals and very high glycemic index type of secret things in there that people think it's healthy, and that's not actually what they're getting, right? And I know we're going to talk also about obesity and all these things where people are thinking that they're doing things to reduce their weight, and yet there's secret things in there that is actually kind of short-circuiting what they're trying to do.
Yeah, totally agree. Those hidden little ingredients um, is detrimental to our health, even though they have all the labeling, they have all the right words on the outside or on the front side. Turning that around and really looking at it, or getting someone that's trusted, a practitioner that can go through that with you,
Mhm.
is very important.
Yeah, I even saw that particular ingredient in something that everybody takes, emergency. And I'm
Mhm.
thinking, oh yeah, you gotta take these. Here, pop 2 packets, 3 packets, to make you feel better. And I'm looking in there going, wait a minute, why did they put this in there? I mean, there's a lot of good stuff, but then there's other stuff that I don't want that's in there as well. So let's shift our lane. We've talked about sleep here a little bit. We got on that. But so you lost 70 pounds. Um, what was the main changes that,
Sleep.
yeah, okay, sleep was the first one, so that was essential. So people don't realize that some people think, well, the more I'm up, the more I'm burning calories, and the more I'm going to lose weight. But that's actually not the case, huh?
No, and if your body is in fight or flight, that's causing stress on your body, it's causing your adrenal fatigue, it's causing wear and tear on your kidneys, your liver's having to work extra hard, and your body's like freak out mode and going, I don't even know where or what you want me to do. I feel like all my engines are running and I'm tired.
Hmm.
So when there's so much stress, lack of sleep, causes stress, which then causes all these other um, symptoms. Your body gets worn down, your immune system is overworked, and then you open the door to dis-ease.
So you talked about things like insulin resistance, and all those type of things. So when insulin levels are up, everyone switches their diet and they try to do all of these things as far as, oh, I want to lose weight and all that, and they just look at calories and all of these things. But when insulin levels are up, basically you're not going to burn any fat, right?
Correct.
And you're just going to hold on to everything. So, what are maybe some of the key shifts there besides sleep? Because sleep is big because of the organs aren't working right, then it's not going to work. What are some of the other things then that people need to cut out that maybe they think even are healthy, but they're not?
Well, cut out or just being mindful of
Okay.
what you eat. So making sure you're getting a balance, protein, fat, and carbs.
Okay.
And I recommend doing that every 3 to 4 hours. That doesn't mean one ginormous meal every 3 to 4 hours. That means a balanced snack, something every 3 to 4 hours, so that your body, especially for insulin resistance,
Mhm.
your body isn't having those high spikes, those low crashes, causing stress. Wanting to crash, you're going to caffeine. Um, so really balancing that. You want that blood sugar to stay more balanced, little waves versus these highs and lows, and doing those balanced small meals of protein, fats, and carbs every 3 hours is going to get there. Is it going to happen overnight? Probably not. Is it going to take some time? And it depends on what your body has gone through, potentially how long it's going to take you to get some balance going on too.
Awesome. Okay, so let's talk carbs because that's a big one. What are the good ones and what are the bad ones? I mean, obviously it's part of a balanced diet. A lot of people cut it out completely, which I don't know how healthy that is. But are there some that are better than others?
Your leafy green vegetables are going to be the key to that. So even having, for example, I don't get high on the numbers, I don't get hung up on the numbers, but I like to use numbers to have people understand it. So let's say you have 10 grams of protein, you're going to want a complex 10 grams of carbs and then about half of that in fats.
Okay.
So that would be the balance. Um, and really being mindful of that, always having that protein in your stomach first, because it's kind of like a trampoline, is what I call it. It bounces in there, the rest of the carbs and the fat bounce in there, and it doesn't like absorb into your system real fast, spike that insulin. Your protein's there to help soothe everything, make everything a little bit more balanced.
Gotcha. Okay. And so let's talk about fats, for example, because I heard this recently. You can tell me whether this is true or not. Um, because a lot of people think, I know I've thought before, I'll just go no fat, really no fat. Don't have the fat in there at all because that's what makes you fat. Um, but then I was kind of doing some research saying that when your body doesn't have the fat, then it has to hold on to the fat. And so they were talking about healthy fats like your avocado and your extra virgin olive oil and then different, things like that to make sure you get those. And it actually helps you burn fat. Is that true or what's your take?
Yes. Yep. Our bodies need fat. Our brain needs fat to think. So when we cut that out completely, we really hurt the whole system. Um, and one little tidbit for olive oil, if when you use it, don't heat it up
Mm,
to over 180 degrees because that can really change the chemistry in it, which then can turn that oil into not supportive to your body. So olive oil or coconut oil, avocado oil, even butter, if it's grass fed, really good quality. Um, those are high temp fats.
okay. And so these are all good because we were told, for those of us who've been around long enough, we were told, oh no, you want things like sunflower oil and vegetable oil and all of those type of things, which now we're finding out is completely the opposite of the truth. Am I
Right.
correct? Yeah.
Yep. And
So,
that stuff gets lodged in your liver, and it really takes some effort to pull that stuff out.
right. So okay, let's say someone has really just unknowingly even just messed up through the years and that stuff is in there now. I mean, it's done a lot of damage. But I know from a faith perspective, we do believe that, God makes the body in a way that in many ways it can repair itself over time if we start doing what we were naturally, created to do. So what are some of the best ways to start at least slowly compounding over time, either slow down the damage or even reverse in some cases some of the damage?
Get rid of the processed foods.
Okay. So that would be
That's the
just
first
about
thing.
everything in a box, everything in a package, or?
Yep. Get back to the basics, make your food, um, get a good clean protein, get your vegetables, get some fruit. And we can go down the fear road, and that's not where we want to go because all of our food has been modified to some degree, but
Mhm.
really doing the best that you can and getting rid of the processed food is one of the first ways to change things.
Okay. So then fill us in here because you got the weight off and you've kept the weight off and this is something you now practice and teach with other people and you feel a lot better. You mentioned less brain fog. And it's crazy because a lot of people don't even realize they have brain fog, huh? Because it's just been that way. They
Yes,
just figure I'm stressed, I'm old, I'm tired, I'm overworked. And they don't
absolutely.
even realize it, right?
Mhm.
Um, so what what is a typical, like if I know everybody's different, but let's say for you, what's a typical way of eating for you, the things that you're basically including and the things that you used to do that you, for the most part, are avoiding most of the time now?
So some of the things I'm mostly avoiding is sugar in general,
Okay.
or simple carbs that like treats. When I worked at the hospital, that was everybody's thing. The gratitude, let's go send them some donuts or send them some cake or, cut
Yeah.
that out. And then really being mindful of your caffeine intake, and drinking water. Making sure you're hydrated, your cells are hydrated. So for me, like what I like to do is I first of all like to get up, have my morning time, have a routine, eat my breakfast, get my kids up.
Okay.
And then 3 to 4 hours later, I'm going to be having some form of protein, a balanced snack. So my go-to if and when I'm in a hurry, especially in the wintertime, we live in Montana where it's cold. I love the bone broth and then I just do it
Mm.
hot, drink it down. You can have some fruit on the side with that. Um, and then obviously your lunch and then your dinner. I put in long days at the office, so I tend to, I just started actually something here is ordering my food to my door. I still have to cook it, but it's all there. I don't have to go to the grocery store. And it's just right there. It's not for everybody, but that's what I've chosen for now for me because it's convenient, but yet good and good quality food.
So like meal kits that come with
Yeah.
the stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and there are various companies. So you're talking about not where they've even prepared it, but where they're basically giving you the ingredients.
Yeah.
So that's probably the most natural way to do it if you're going to do it.
Yeah, and if you live in a bigger city or bigger place, it's easier to get good quality food. I live where I live, and it's just it you have to be a little bit more mindful of when you go to the grocery store, where you or what foods you're getting. We do live on a farm, so we do have our own beef, but if you're gonna want some chicken or fish, you're gonna have to be really careful where you get it.
So you're mentioning your own beef. Now there's beef and there's beef, right? They're not all beef is not created equal.
That is right.
And a lot of people don't know this either. So what is I mean, obviously you're getting a much more pure, maybe a grass-fed, form of what you're talking about here with your own beef versus the average thing that somebody buys in a market or a store. What's the major differences there, and how does that affect the health benefits or lack of benefits?
Biggest thing that you want to look for when you look for beef is grass fed, grass finished. And a lot of them, beef that is at the grocery store is, first of all, pumped full of antibiotics, pumped full of growth hormones, and then they are grain finished. So that grain goes in, I mean, it's digested and absorbed. So there's more fat, there's high carb content in it too.
Got it. Okay. So it's a major difference because so you would agree then that a grass-fed type of beef is actually very healthy. I mean, a lot of people are, fearful of that. They're told not to be taking that in, but it's actually beneficial in most cases, right?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
gotcha. Now, bone broth, I've heard a lot about that. What are some of the major benefits there, and how are you getting the bone broth? Is it like something you're making? Is it something that, is prepared?
I like the packets. You can get them at Costco. You can get them at most stores that are larger,
Mhm.
just because it's convenient. Make sure they're the clean label ones. But the benefits of it, it's a very usable source of protein. So your body is not having to work extra hard. So people that have gut issues, gut lining issues, um, lots of bloating going on because of bowel issues.
Okay.
It is a source of really good protein that your body can absorb, and it's not having to put out all that energy into digestion.
Got it. Yeah, like my wife, for instance, she just is grossed out by it, and I can't understand why. I've used the packets, like you said, as well. And I know that I was trying to do like a gut reset a few months back where I was just cutting out anything that had any processed stuff in it and just being very, very careful. And I was at some retreat, and so I, for the most part, could not eat what they were putting out. And so I took these packets with me, and my stomach was actually kind of like a little irritated at the moment and all of that. And I made a package of the bone broth with the hot water. And not only did it taste good to me, it just felt soothing,
Hmm.
like almost instantly.
Yeah, it's a hug on a gut.
Gotcha. So what is, doesn't it have like collagen and things in it as well?
Yep. And collagen is not just for your hair and nails. Your gut lining needs that collagen so it when it expands and contracts, it's more pliable.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the gut now. I know that's part of what you specialize in as well. You go to a regular practical medicine doctor, and a lot of the doctors, I know my doctor, and she's a pretty good doctor, really nice lady and everything. I'm not knocking, but I started talking about things like candida overgrowth and things I was looking up and leaky gut and all those things. And she looked at me and said, "Oh, all right, we don't believe in that." And I'm thinking, all right, you may not believe in it, but it doesn't mean it's not true. And all I know is I'm having all these problems that sound very much like what I'm reading about. So maybe enlighten our listeners a little bit about what's really going on and how common a problem this is, and some things that can be done to start reversing the problem.
Oh man, where do I want to start? So, with one thing with the biofeedback that we do in office, and people that don't come to the office, we can do hair sample testing and customize the nutrition, do the biofeedback, all the things. So you don't
Okay.
necessarily have to be present to get the service, but so when we biofeedback, we're able to see all the imbalances, not just on the organs, but then we go a little deeper. So we're going to look at systemic fungus, mold, yeast, bacteria, viruses, parasites, heavy metals, light metals that act like heavy metals, and then your minerals. And so looking at all of that, putting all the pieces together, I believe, and this is my opinion, but a lot of dysfunction, dis-ease can come from toxins slash parasites. And we all need parasites in our gut to thrive because that's what breaks down our food. That's what helps get the nutrients where it needs to go. The problem with that is when there's an imbalance. So we come in contact with toxins, from the air we breathe to the water we drink. I mean, it's everywhere.
Mm.
And then when our immune system is overworked on the toxins, it leaves our immune system open for bad bacteria to come in or all these other dysfunctions, which then feed the bad bacteria, feed the bad parasites, which then they continue to grow and regrow. Then you have a snowball effect of the dysfunction going on. So, backing up, when we do the customized nutrition, we use herbs and tinctures of different medicines, and we can help the body get back to balance just doing that.
So some of the issues then that are caused by this imbalance and these parasites and the leaky gut and all that, I mean, we hear a lot about inflammation, for example, that's taking place in the body with people. We've got autoimmune type situations like um, lupus and psoriasis and eczema and all these different things that are coming out into people's skin. You were talking earlier about bowel issues and those types of things. So all kind of related in here. So you're saying that the system basically gets off, and so what? So and it does just snowball. So left unchecked, let's say without changing this, and people are just thinking, oh, I just haven't been feeling great. I've been having this issue. Well, I'll just try to do a few little health changes on what modified on my diet, and it should get better. And yet years go by and it's still seemingly not getting better, and they're frustrated and losing hope at this point. Is there hope for them?
Yes.
So,
First of all, giving your body, or you mentioned it earlier, God designed our bodies to heal themselves given the right tools. I believe that everybody can heal themselves with God's help, with God, given the right tools. Now, if you've left that situation untouched for a long period of time, it's not going to be today or tomorrow that it gets better. And it's the timing part that we have to play with.
okay. Now you touched on something too, because we live in a generation now where we want everything instant. Right? People go to the gym at the beginning of the year for 3 days. They look in the mirror and they say, I'm still fat. I don't see any changes. This doesn't work, right? And it hurts, so I'm stopping. People do this on these type of protocols and changes that you're talking about as well, right? I mean, they don't see any major change after 1 or 2 weeks, and all of a sudden they're like, well, it doesn't do anything, and they're back in
Mhm.
it. So what should a person kind of expect to see, and what kind of timelines? Where things will start to change.
Anywhere from 2 to 6 months. It might take years.
Okay, gotcha. But
Then
the
there's people that are having great success, and let's say something triggers it, something outside stresses the body, and it starts the whole symptoms all back up again. Like you're doing really great, but then there's this one little hiccup. But we just got to step back again, address the issue, and move forward.
Okay, so let's talk about that example where maybe it's not really the internal problem, but there's still some tendency. So say a person that has really reactive skin, whether it's psoriasis, eczema, things like that, and they're getting some internal stuff going. It's not flaring as much as it was. It's calming down. And then their spouse, I mean, I had this totally by accident, used a detergent that it didn't realize, when washing the clothes, didn't used to be a problem, but all of a sudden it was a problem. And so every time I'm putting on something, it's like, what is going on? I'm starting to get irritated all over the place. I guess they call that contact dermatitis or whatever it is. And literally there I'm back to square one with all kinds of issues. So that wasn't necessarily the diet, but there's still the tendencies then, right? So we have to try to find what the flare up is, what the trigger is, and then get back on the horse.
Yep, and it absolutely can still come back from the gut because if your gut is not at optimum and it's that laundry detergent that is on the clothes that's on your skin is the last thing that your body can um, tolerate, and it's just like, okay, I'm done, and it's just going to flare up. So
Gotcha.
a lot of times it's more than just one thing. We just got to keep unwinding and unwinding. It's kind of like an onion, peeling off those layers, getting a little deeper, getting a little to that root issue.
Awesome. So are there certain things that with inflammation and everything that can calm the body faster? I mean, are there certain nutrients or things like aloe vera or I don't know, different um, things that people could take that even aren't that expensive, but they're simple and it helps calm the system down?
Hmm. Absolutely. With that inflammation, I always like to add, though, like what is causing that inflammation. So again, getting deeper into those root issues. But like you noticed, even the bone broth is one of the huge components, getting that nutrients in there, but also like kind of just giving that gut a little hug.
Okay.
Um, Aloe vera is also another really good source. It lines that gut lining. It gets that nutrients in there. I mean, we put it on our fingers for burns. So imagine having your gut irritated and inflamed. That aloe is going to help with that as well.
Now, on that one though, here's a big question I have for you because that one can be deceiving, right? Because there's so many of these aloe vera drinks, but they're loaded with sugar because you mentioned sugar. And so that's kind
Yes.
of sneaky, right? Because
Hmm.
it says, oh, aloe vera, but so which aloe vera are we getting? I mean, which,
Yeah, I mean that's a really true factor. I just have some on my desk here. I like this stuff that Dr. Tony created it, and it's just little packets. So you get a whole box of this. It's a gallon in total, but it comes in this little box. But
nice.
it's strictly just aloe vera that is dehydrated, blended up into powder, and you reconstitute it. It's going to taste like aloe vera. It's going to taste like you're stripping the plant. If you live in an area that aloe vera grows very well, you can totally just even use those plants, like strip that stuff out and use it in a shake, in a drink, and somehow get it into you. I've done that before. This is more convenient for me.
So yeah, because a lot of people, okay, you bring up a good point. It's not about the taste here. It's about getting it in there, right? And doing it because those sugary aloe vera drinks. I mean, I used to drink those, going, "Oh, I love these. They're so good. I mean, they taste good." And I was even in my mind going, "And I'm helping myself at the same time." When in reality, I was not.
Right.
Um, but what I was thinking was tasting so good was the sweet sugar stuff that they were putting with it and the flavors that they were putting with it. So you mentioned you could even put that in. So you talked about fruit. So let's say, how do we take healthy fruits with some natural sugars are not going to be that bad for you in moderation, right? So maybe you could combine things into smoothies and things like that using, what are some of your top fruits that are really healthy and not going to really spike you that much?
I like all the berries, and then because those are low glycemic, have lots of antioxidants.
Mhm.
Um, but if people have a lot of gut issues and really irritable bowel stuff going on, that fiber, it's a balance game you have to play because sometimes that's a little too much for people, and then we have a lot more symptoms going on. So really knowing the person, having that conversation of what's going on to help people. But for me, I like the berries.
Yeah, so the darker the better, or not necessarily?
Of course, strawberries can kind of be irritating because they have the little seed in them. So just being mindful of that. But definitely the darker the berry. Goji berries are another really good one with a lot of good nutrients in them.
Awesome. Awesome. And they're so good too, really, when you put all that stuff in there. I used to be a popsicle person at night. I like my popsicles and all those type of things because I want something cold and something sweet. So I finally thought, okay, I got to get out of this. And now, like frozen fruit, like blueberries, blackberries, things like that that's my treat now because I
Sure.
figure it's so much better. Problem is, I like to eat a little too much of them because, once I get started, I just want to keep going. Um, but that's a good switch that people can make. And then, oh man, you said something else. Oh yeah, this triggered my mind too. So you talked about people with the bowel stuff, and we talk about fiber. And you just read it, all the advertisements say, well, you just need to get more fiber. How does that, pardon the pun here, but how does that really backfire if you're not careful?
Yeah. If it's knowing the integrity of that colon, so what toxins potentially are causing an issue, what symptoms are you having, and really making sure that you are focusing on. I mean, honestly, I believe that blood sugar stabilization, so making sure those that usable protein that your body can break down, making sure you're getting protein, fats, and carbs in there. With that, the carbs, with the vegetables, with the fruit, you're going to get that fiber, that natural fiber, and that'll really help that whole system.
So fiber related to carbs, what's the relation there? Because I know that when you look at like when they tell you to keep your carbs down to a certain amount, they balance it with how many grams of fibers. Like so, if they have what they call net carbs. So I never quite understood that. How does the fiber and the carbs relate where they do that?
There is how much fiber is in it, how much sugar content is in it, and then it balances out. But I don't like getting hung up on all of that because I like to help people make it simple because we're busy. So
Right.
if you just focus on a protein, fat, and carb, um, every 3 hours, you're going to have it balanced. So making sure you're eating leafy green vegetables. Are you wanting the high fat protein from, let's say, beef, or are you wanting to go more low lean protein? So you get your fish or your chicken, and then have your leafy green vegetables, and have some fat or fruit, and having it all balanced is really beneficial.
Okay. And one other thing that's coming to my mind, is there any place in the protocol? What's your view on, like, there's a lot of talk about intermittent fasting. Is that beneficial? Is it not? I mean, the 3 to 4 hour thing obviously is not intermittent fasting. So, any thoughts on that?
Fasting can be very beneficial for men. Um, Women with the hormones situation, it gets a little bit more tricky. Now, if you fast like a girl, there is a time and a place for that. But someone should just start out fasting. Please do your education first. Make sure that you're doing it, especially women that are doing fasting. Make sure that you're fasting like a girl because your cyclic weeks.
Got it. Okay, that does make sense because when I've talked about that and even tried that, it's women usually who are saying, "Oh no, I can't do that. It really messes me up. I get a headache. I get a migraine. I get types of issues." And us guys, we're insensitive at times. Let's face it. And we're like, just suck it up. What's the thing? Is like we did it. It's not a big deal. But there's a big significant difference then,
Yeah,
hormonally.
because fasting for a guy, doing it right, it can really drive up your testosterone. It can really help with that. On the flip side, for a girl, if you're, let's say, you just randomly pick and you're going to decide you're going to fast for 5 days, you're probably going to screw up your hormones completely, and we're going to have a bigger problem at the end of it.
Yeah. And everybody's going to have a bigger problem at the end of it, right? Because
Let's
nobody's
be
going to be,
real.
yeah, no, nobody's going to be happy when that happens, right? So, okay. Um, Now let's talk about, in the last few minutes we have, how people get help with purposeful health. You said that the person doesn't even have to be local. They can connect with you guys, and so what would be the process, and how is it that you help people the most?
People that just looking for me at purposefulhealth.net is going to the website, booking a consult. The first consult is free. We can decide, first of all, if it's something that I can help you with, or if that's something that you want to go through with. And then we make a plan. A lot of times they are going to send me stuff to test, and then we make a customized nutrition plan for them. Um, and when I say customized nutrition, we're looking at all the things. So we're getting rid of toxins, we're supporting the body on that nutritional value or level, and they're going to do the homework. It's not like a meal in a box that comes to your door. You still have to do the hard work and find what works for you.
Well, it's really important to have that guidance, right? Because there's so many myths out there and so much marketing out there, and you think you're doing the right thing and you find out you're not. So, definitely so. Purposefulhealth.com, is that what you said?
So,
Yeah, and I know you sent me information as well. We're going to make sure we get all those links attached to the programming. I would definitely encourage everyone, especially, I mean, you already heard it, it's a free consultation, so why would you not want to, find out more, reach out and see if there can be some benefit. Let's face it, if you're watching this right now and you're thinking, I just don't feel the way I used to be, I look in the mirror, I'm not liking what I see, and I'm not liking how I feel. I don't feel like I used to. Something seems like it's wrong. If it feels like something's off, it's probably because something is off. Our body does tell us things. So make that contact, reach out, definitely do that, find out some more, and it could be life-changing for you as far as your productivity is concerned, because God wants us to be healthy and as productive as possible with the time that He's giving us here on this earth, and I know this is huge. What are some other big things, maybe, Rachel, that are on the horizon, or big things that are important to you right now that you want everybody to know about?
oh, the big thing that's coming up right now is I have an adoptive mom summit coming up the end of April 28th, 29th, and 30th. It's a free event. All you have to do is register and attend. And my idea, my goal for this is, as me being an adoptive mom, there are times that we feel very lonely and very people don't understand the situation, which a lot of people don't. But having this adoptive mom summit is to help these mamas to realize that they are not alone, that there is help out there, and that there is community to support them. So that is what's coming up on the horizon.
My light just went out on me. I don't know if that's a sign here. There's motion. There we go. Um, but that is huge, and we didn't even really talk about that much. I mean, I mean, it's such an awesome thing to adopt, and I've seen this with others as well. What really drew you to that, and maybe give us the biggest blessing and the challenge that everyone should know.
Hmm. So what drew us to that is when our third biological child was born, we knew that we could no longer have children. And so we're like, well, we can just adopt, right?
Hmm.
And we chose to do it through the social system. And with that comes a lot of challenges. So the challenges are daily for us on different things. Things look differently. Some of the blessings, through all of this, I believe God has allowed me to heal my childhood wounds by adopting children.
Oh, wow. So kind of by being for them, what, would you learn from your own experience?
Well, it's forced me to dig deep because, like, what's triggering you, how their behavior is triggering me. So why am I triggered? Why am I responding the way I am? And really digging deep into that. And I choose to have a therapist that helps me walk alongside of me and walk through this process as well.
And that's big in anything, right? I mean, what do you call them? Therapist, counseling, whatever you call them. I mean, it helps to have somebody that can see from the outside of not being right in this situation and kind of understand and give you a little bit of a overview of possibly why we're responding the way that we do, because often we don't understand ourselves on what's going on, and some things make sense. So definitely something of huge value. I see so much more value in that than I used to. I used to be taught, oh, you don't need anything, just, but it is very valuable. And as you see changes, how old are your adoptive children?
My oldest adopted one is almost 18, and my youngest adopted is 13.
And did you get them early, or it was later?
One was 14 months and one was 5.
Gotcha, gotcha. So, yeah, it's got to be. I'm sure there's been tremendous blessings in that.
Mm.
What would you say is the most? I don't mean to put you on the spot, but we got here. What's the most rewarding or part that you're the most grateful for them?
Being able to be their mom,
Hmm.
being able to stand in the gap where their biological parents couldn't,
Yeah,
um, even though they may not understand it now, is being able to be that person for them.
yeah, amen. It's so important to have people in your life that actually care about you and are going to be there for you. So yeah, definite blessing, and I know that, I mean, it's something that's so needed out there. So definitely. So you have that summit coming up as well. So there's information. You sent me information for that as well,
I
or?
will send you information on that.
Yeah, send me that and I'll get that there too.
All
Um,
right.
all right. So, well, it has been such a pleasure having you here on the Audacious Faith podcast. And I just want to encourage all of our listeners today, share this with somebody else as well. If you've watched it, that's great, but there's other people that will be blessed by it also. And let's get those bodies set. Let's look into getting some changes, reach out, get a free consultation. And maybe you were just encouraged today and you just want to reach out and say, hey, thank you for being on the podcast. And this is how you encouraged me. I'm sure that Rachel would definitely appreciate that as well. Make sure you subscribe so that you can not miss a single episode. And we look forward to being with you in the future as well on the Audacious Faith podcast. So until next time, may God bless you, encourage you, and help you to make a huge difference in the world around you. Take care.